Hi, welcome to Luminess Airbrush Cosmetics webcast. I'm Brandy Perez, National Makeup Artist for Luminess Airbrush Cosmetics. I'm going to go ahead and start today with Carrie, my model. And as usual, Heather is going to be translating all the questions for me that you have today in our lesson. I'm so excited. Today we're going to cover some questions that I know a bunch of you have been asking, and I want to address all of these things because this is really important. It's actually part of framing your face, this lesson. So Carrie here, if you take a good look at her, go ahead and zoom in just a little bit so you can take a good look at her. I know she's like, I have no makeup on. But if you take a good look at her, really, her eyebrows are going to be one of the main focuses that I go into today. And I'm actually going to start off with her eyes, and we'll finish with the foundation and everything else. But her eyebrows is what I'm going to address. I'm going to show how you can actually go in and airbrush her cosmetics onto her eyebrows. And after I finish doing that, I'm going to highlight, and I'm going to contour, and I'm going to show how I myself would apply somebody to have that finished, polished look right around their eye. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. I'm going to turn my model a little bit in an angle for me, and I'm going to start off by not airbrushing first. I'm actually going to start off by prepping the eye. I've already done this. I actually put a little bit of eye cream around Carrie's eye, okay? So everybody make sure you do this at home. Make sure you apply your eye cream or any kind of treatment around the eye to actually grab hydration first before you go in and start your cosmetics. I'm going to start off with our primer first, okay? Now, if you haven't started with your primer as far as your moisturizer or your eye cream, our primer is perfect for that. Make sure that you do have this. If you don't have it, you can go to lumcost.com and order it. This is our primer. I'm going to just put 3 drops, not much. 1, 2, 3. Okay? I'm going to push the on button here. I'm going to get started very quickly. I'm going to go in, and why am I doing this before I start on her eyebrows? I just want to hydrate the skin and mask it while we're doing her eyebrows. Hydrate the skin so this way it's nice and even, perfect surface before we get started. And there we go. That's about all. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how we have all 5 shades of concealers here, okay? We're looking at the F1 through shades of F5. With Carrie, she's in the lighter shades. For her to conceal with, I'm going to use the C3 concealer, okay? This is our peachier tone that we use in our concealer collection that actually goes in and brightens up the eye. Peach really helps it correct. Then I'm going to go in and use the C1 to brighten the eyes with, okay? So the C1 is going to help to highlight and lift the eyebrows. So we're going to go ahead and start with the C1. I'm going to use the back of my hand to be a little more sanitary here. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with why I'm using C1, and one of your main questions is going to be, why would I want to use something that's so much lighter and brighter than what she is? Aren't I supposed to use the color that's the exact skin tone of her? Actually, no, because what I want to do is I actually want to highlight and contour underneath the eyebrow, okay? So I'm going to start off with going right underneath, and you can actually close your eyes for me. Now, if you're doing this at home, of course, naturally you want to open up your eyes, but since I'm doing it on her, I'm going to ask her to close her eyes. I'm going to go right underneath that eyebrow. And go ahead and turn, Carrie, I'm sorry. Just cheating you guys, not letting you see exactly what it was I'm doing here. So what I'm doing is just highlighting right underneath that eyebrow. Okay? And again, I'm using the C1 concealer. If you don't have this in your collection, oh my word, you have to have this. This is a must-have. Let me tell you, even if you're dark complected, fair complected, a color like she is as well, I mean, this is perfect because you can even use it to give that extra pop inside your concealer and make it lift and really help to groom. Now take a look at that. This is what you're going to see as soon as you're done with putting that on. It's going to look like it's not blended. It's going to be really bright, but this really helps to emphasize the eyebrows, okay, as far as brightening. Now, if you have a lot of hair in your eyebrows, okay, this would be the step you would do and then your concealer afterwards. I'm doing this just to show you what I would do immediately if you have a lot of hair in your eyebrows. Now, ladies, I know we have those that are out there with a lot of hair in their eyebrows, and then we have the women who barely have any hair there. Okay, so I'm going to go in and just tap that in. All right. And at this point, what I would do to finish off that look is I would actually go in and I would go in with the actual concealer that matches your skin tone and blend that in. You might want to ask, why wouldn't you just use your normal concealer there? Well, because the C1 just gives it that punch, that bright glow that opens up the eyes, okay? So that's why I like to use that. But I'm going to jump and go right into as if you don't have any eyebrow hair. Bear with me. I'm trying to give you two different examples. One is going to be if you have a lot of hair, you're going to use a concealer and go around and then go in with your normal concealer shade. If you don't have any hair, this is what you would do to fill in your eyebrows with the airbrush system, okay? Now, you're probably going to wonder, I didn't know that you could fill in your eyebrows with the airbrush. You absolutely can. I'm going to go with the F8. I'm actually going to use the F8 matte, okay? The F8 matte. Why am I choosing matte? The reason why I'm choosing matte is because it'll actually stay on. The longevity of this is going to really wear very well. So I'm going to shake it up. Remember to shake up your product. And I'm going to put, I mean, this product really goes a long way, so I'm just going to put 2 small drops, okay? Now, you don't have to be a perfectionist at this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go in very quickly. You don't have to make it perfectly flawless. And you definitely don't have to be a makeup artist to do this. It's really, really easy. I'm just going to go in her eyebrow and just fill in where her hair is. If she doesn't have any eyebrow hair there, you just go in and follow your bone structure. If you were to close your eyes and put your finger and run it across your bone, if you were to close your eyes and put your finger and run it across your bone, that's where you can feel your eyebrow bone. Your highest point of your eyebrow bone is where you want to really go in and really put some more color there, because that is where you're going to create your arch. That is exactly where you're going to create the opening eye area. Arch really makes a huge difference on how open your eyes look. Okay? I just finished coloring her eyebrow. Now her hair color is almost like, I would want to say she's in the red family.
Auburn.
Like an auburn color, exactly. And because of that, I chose the F8 because it has just enough of that red in there to really give her that warmth. Now I don't want her to walk around with red eyebrows, so I chose something a little lighter. Now if you look at the eyebrows, you might think, okay, this isn't perfectly shaped, Brandy. That's fine, okay? And this is exactly where I tell everybody, you can too have the most perfect eyebrows. You go in with a little bit of your C1, okay? And you would just frame that eyebrow. You would actually shape up that eyebrow, okay? Because you have just finished going in and airbrushing that color on. You would go in. I always like to start from the top and clean it. Especially if you haven't freshly tweezed your eyebrows. Ladies, this is a fabulous trick. You're going out on a hot date, you're going out running errands or anything, you just want to have that frame look. This works flawlessly. I love this concealer. I just go in and I just clean up my eyebrow shape that I just finished doing with the airbrush. And now the airbrush doesn't go all over the place, okay? And if you want to know how much pressure you need to apply when you're putting on the eyebrow, barely, I mean barely pull back on that throttle. The lightest amount of pressure that you can apply on that throttle is going to actually give it the best application, okay? So you should end up with results like these as soon as you're done with the C1, okay? After I'm done with the C1, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the other eyebrow and make it even, and then we'll jump back and even everything out, okay? So going to the other eyebrow, I'm going to start off for those clients who don't have any hair, what you would do. I'm sorry?
Her wrinkles.
Her wrinkles. We're going to address her wrinkles in just one moment. As soon as I'm done with this, she's like, someone wants to know about the wrinkles. We're going to address her wrinkles in just one moment. And we like to call them, or us in the beauty industry like to call them, happy lines.
Smile lines.
Beauty lines, smile lines, anything but wrinkles.
They lived a happy life.
Yes, they lived a happy life, and there they are, showing how happy we've been. Okay, so if you don't have any eyebrow hair, don't worry. You can make an eyebrow, okay? So I'm going in with this, and I'm going to just shade in an eyebrow. Now notice I'm barely pulling back on that throttle. barely, okay? I'm not pulling back really heavily at all. Now, if you gun it all the way back, way too much product is going to come out, and you're just going to have a big mess. So make sure you go very lightly. It doesn't have to be perfect when you're going in. I mean, take a good look at this. You can see that I have not shaded it in perfectly, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine because I'm going to go in with that concealer anyhow and clean that up. And it's really, really that easy, okay? So again, using my C1, I'm going to go in and clean up that eyebrow, okay? So Carrie, just turn for me to the right. There we go. And I'm going to go in and just clean it up. Okay, cleaning it up right underneath the eyebrow, just giving it a really clean finish, making sure that I clean up where I had previously sprayed the airbrush, and then I'm going to go in and just go right at the top. Now this may take, if you're doing this at home yourself, first time you do it, it might take about 2 or 3 minutes to, really learn this. I mean, before you know it, you're going to be flying through this. I mean, you're going to get yourself into the habit of this, and you're going to feel like you have to have this. Because honestly, your eyebrows really frame your face, and it truly does make a huge difference on the way your eyes look as far as being lifted, open, and having that finished, polished look about your makeup. Okay? So, and then Carrie, again, turn this way. And again, I'm just going in and making sure that I have that perfect, clean look, okay? So there, you can see, right there. There you go. And go ahead and zoom in so you can see how it's just really clean. And that's been airbrushed, okay? And mind you, I didn't make it perfect when I went and sprayed it. I just went in and gently sprayed, and then afterwards I went in with the concealer. Now I'm going to go in, and I'm going to show you how I would address what Heather was saying. Fine lines around the eyes, or should we say, happy lines. So I'm going to go in. Now, guys, keep in mind, whenever you're putting on your makeup around your eyes, especially if your skin is young or if your skin is mature or if you have spots or anything like that around your eyes, you don't necessarily have to have a lot of makeup in order to cover this. Actually, in this area of your face, less is always more. So you don't want to apply a great deal, because what you'll actually do is create that mature skin to look even more mature. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to correct where I see her eyes looking a little darker, where I see a shadow. And I'm going to go in with peach, okay? Remember, the peach concealer that I'm using is a C2 peach, okay? This one, or actually correct myself, C3 peach, okay? This one has enough peach to correct it, and actually peach helps to give it that pretty glow. So I'm going to go in with this one, and I'm just going to gently tap it on right where I see her eyes tending to be a little bit darker, which is right in here, coming right over there, okay? So I'm going to go in her inner corner and bring it out, okay? Now, if you're asking about the lines, ladies, don't focus on them, okay? Don't focus on it. If you got your eye cream on and you went in there and you hydrated your skin with the primer, your skin already is hydrated at this time and it looks great. So you don't have to apply a great deal of makeup to there. So I'm going to do now, and if you can see the difference, I have already went in there and just evened it out, okay? I'm going to go in there with the peach again on the other side of her eye, and I'm going to tap that in. Make sure whenever you're putting in your eye concealer that you don't go and rub this product in. I had a conversation with a client the other day who was saying, I put on the eye concealer and I feel like I'm not getting enough coverage. If you're rubbing in your eye concealer, you're actually rubbing the product out. So make sure when you're putting the product on, you're tapping it in, because your skin will start to absorb that, okay? And it'll start to look more natural, so don't worry if it looks a little heavier at first. I'm going in with my C1 now, okay? Using my C1, this is my favorite thing to use when I do makeup around the eyes because it really does brighten up. Notice again, I'm not focusing in on where she has a little bit of lines. Why? Because that is going to be where I would actually make it look cakey. That's where you would have a problem. And if you turn, you just add a little bit of that C1 right there where her line deepens in, right in there, okay? When you do that, you're actually brightening it up, making it look more brighter, more youthful and glowing. Look at that. Doesn't that look so much better? Okay, so I'm going to go in on the other side and just add a little bit more. Heather, do we have any questions?
They're just really interested to see those small little lines just kind of disappear. And they think it's really neat how you are paying less attention to the fine lines and more attention to the darkness to kind of minimize the appearance of the fine lines.
Exactly. I mean, if you concentrate on something that you really want to bring out, which is you really want your skin to look youthful, you really want to have a nice glow, you're going to, accentuate the areas that can really make a difference, which typically that is the inner corner of your eyes. Typically that is where you would lift your eyebrows and where you would go in with a nice glowing blush. All these things really emphasize a really healthy looking skin. So if you go in and you concentrate on those areas, you're going to have a really great looking skin when you're done. Okay? So now at this point I'm going to go in and I'm going to turn on my system, okay? And I'm going to finish that look, okay? So notice all I did was brighten up that area right around her eyes and zoom in for me. So all I did at this point was brighten up her eyes right around that area and just correct it. If I could have a camera right now just to show her before picture, you would see a big difference. Before she had a lot of pink around her eyes and you could really see where her eyebrows were coming down versus having an arch right here. I added an arch right there with the airbrush. So because I added the arch there, I actually opened up her eye shape, okay? So smile for me. Look at her. She's like scared on camera here. But so definitely that makes a huge difference, okay? So now I'm going to go in where everybody's asking about those lines around the eyes and how I'm going to address that, okay? I'm going to start off with the satin to cover any corrections that I have, just to cover the corrections, and then I'm going to jump into the matte to give her that finish because Carrie likes the powder finish. And less is more in this case. If you have more mature skin, less is definitely more. You don't have to apply a great deal of makeup to have that finish you're looking for. So again, shake your product, and I'm going to go in with just a few drops. Did you have a question?
Not right now.
Great, great.
To see it go on.
Alrighty, great. Okay, so I'm going to start on with just a few drops. And again, I know if you've been watching our webcast, you know that it doesn't take a lot of product to cover up any imperfections you have going on there. So I'm just going to go in and just spray in those little imperfections that I see across her face, which are very little, by the way. Yeah. So she's like, hey, please. We're our own worst critics. We really are. Okay, so I'm going to go in and just spray any little things. Now, if you're wondering, how do I save on using my foundation? Make sure, ladies, that you just use a little bit to cover any imperfections you have. When you do that, you cover your imperfections first. You end up using very little foundation to do the rest, okay? So I'm going to spray out. I mean, look, that was 3 drops, and here I am spraying out product. I still have product left to spray out, okay? That goes to show how much our product really lasts. Now I'm going to go in with her actual color. And I am going to choose FM3 Matte for her, okay? Because Carrie does not like to see a lot of red in her undertone, so I'm going to go in and do that. As soon as I finish doing that, we're going to go in with her blush, and we're going to highlight underneath those eyes, and I'm going to show you how I like to finish off the eyebrows and around the eyes to give a beautiful glow, okay? So I'm going to go in quickly. Do you have a question?
Quick question
Sure.
for you. Susan wanted to know, because she said, like Carrie, her chin's not as firm underneath
Right.
as it used to be. If we could show her how to
Of
make
course.
that go away.
Of course.
Please.
I do the same. I do the same. It's one of the tricks that every makeup artist loves to use on themselves. First, I'm going to go in and I'm going to put her coverage on. And remember, everybody, make sure you're working in slow motion circles. You'll end up getting more coverage, better results. You won't have to go through so much product to get that coverage you're looking for, okay? And remember to finish off your product on one side of the face and move to the other side of the face so it can dry before you go in with another layer. Sorry, just grabbed the wrong bottle. That wouldn't have been nice. Okay, so we're going to go in, like Heather was saying, everybody wants to know how they would go in and conceal the area underneath their chin for a more slimmer you. I can't wait till we get to this part. It's really so easy, and it really makes a huge difference.
I do it every day.
So I'm going to go through this. Yes, I mean, you know, we love it. We love a huge difference, and you will see a huge difference. I'm going to go in, and 2 or 3 drops. I actually just put 2 drops in there. I'm going to add a little bit more because I don't like to waste product. So Carrie's probably about 8 drops in total for the coverage that we're looking for in Carrie, okay?
Everybody already sees a big difference.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now remember, ladies, when you're spraying it on, you see a little bit of wet. Let it dry. Don't go in and keep focusing on that area. Let it dry so this way you can really get the optimum coverage you're looking for there. I mean, and you could even go in with your foundation and go right underneath the brows just very lightly. Remember, less is more. Try not to spray too much. Be very, very light on that. I'm going to go in with her blush. I'm actually choosing B6, her blush color, okay? So the reason why I'm going with B6 is because I really want a neutral color on her. If you are a pink girl, which almost all girls are pinky, you can add a little bit. If your skin is more mature and you really know that you suffer from that dullness throughout the day, go with the pink. Even if you're not too fond of pink, just add a little bit of pink. The B2, oh my goodness, I love the B2. The B2 in our collection is really, really rosy and it's really, really soft, okay? It's great for that little springy coverage that you can get for that glow. Use a B2, okay? Make sure you go to lumcost.com to order that B2 in case you don't have it. But everybody needs to have that, especially if you want that beautiful glow. And you put it right above your cheeks. Okay, go ahead and smile for me. And I'm going to go in and I'm just going to lightly apply some of this blush on her. Okay. Look at that cute little dimple she's got going on there. Her little cheeks are shivering here on me. Okay, so I'm going to go in and just spray. Now notice, I'm not concentrating too much where I see any fine lines or anything like that. I mean, you can spray gently over it, but I wouldn't recommend to spray very heavily because, again, less is more. I just love this color. I'm telling you, this B6 is one of the best colors you can have in your collection. Look at that. I just applied a little bit on her lips. Doesn't that look fabulous? Close your eyelids. I'm going to add a little bit of warmth with this B6 on her eyelids. And just give it that finished look, okay, for that beautiful glow. Now, look at her eyebrows. Really, take a good look at them and take a really good look at her skin. It's got a great finish. Her eyes still look hydrated. It doesn't look dry. She doesn't have too much product on. That is a great finish. That's what you want to have, a great finish. Now, mind you, the blush, when it goes on webcast, it comes on a little wet looking. So you got to give it a minute or two for it to dry. So bear with me if you see that, but it really looks great in person. It's got a hydrated look. Her skin looks like it's glowing. And that's what you really want. That's truly what you really want. Now, I'm going to go in and I'm going to finish off this highlighted look underneath her eyebrow color. Now, if you want, which I love to do, I like to get the P2. Okay, this P2 is going to have like a silver reflection in it, okay? So if you use this, keep in mind you really, really need to concentrate on being very light on your finger, okay? Put a drop. This is just a little trick. It's not a must. It's not a, you need to do this. But if you really want that bedazzled look to the eye, I love this look. I really do. I'm going to go in on Carrie and I'm just going to spray a tad right in there. And don't worry, it's not like you're going in with a heavy eyeshadow. You're just going in to highlight that inner corner, okay? So I'm going to go in and I'm just going to give her a little tap there. Remember, I'm creating the illusion of a brighter, healthier eye and opening up her eye. Notice that I'm barely tapping back on that, okay? So if you take a look in the inner corner of her eye, it's nice and bright. And if you really want to step it up and you really want a heavier glow underneath the eye, you can go right underneath the eyebrow, right underneath there. So if you see the difference between one eyebrow and the other, one has a really nice glow underneath it. Remember, I'm barely tapping. I mean, I can't get over this. Look how much product I have left. I mean, I'm spraying here and a lot of product's coming out. So that was like one drop of that P2. So that P2 will actually last you a really long time. Okay, I'm going to close that top up. Now after doing that, after all said and done, when you're done with your eyebrows and everything, if you feel like your eyebrows are too dark for you, don't worry about it. If you're using a matte, The best thing about using the mat, it stays longer, the longevity is great. So you can go in with your brush or even a mascara wand and you can lightly tap that out, okay? So if you feel like, I just sprayed too much product or it's just way too dark for my own preference. I know a lot of women, especially if you're not used to filling in those eyebrows, it is different for you. It's almost like a wake up, but wow, there you go, okay? So you can soften it up. Carrie, I happen to like the depth in her eyebrows because it really makes a difference. It really makes those blue eyes come out even bluer. So you can go in and really soften that up. Fabulous. Okay, so with the finishing touch, make sure you go in and you really, really focus in on the brow shape, okay, as far as cleaning it up with that C2, going in with a little bit of concealer right around in here, okay, right around in here. Now, if you put too much product on, ladies, which we all know when we're learning and we're practicing, you put too much product on, go in with a little bit of your eye cream or your moisturizer, your primer, and spray just a little bit right here so you can soften up that texture, okay? And thank you so much. It looks like we're going to go ahead and wrap everything up. Thank you so much for tuning in with us at Luminess Airbrush Cosmetics. You have a wonderful day, and we'll see you at the next session.
She looks so young.
Yes, she does. She looks great.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.